Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at people who had a gut feeling. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. My little sister and I always felt icky around a great uncle. We hated him and tried to be around our cousins or family whenever we could. This was before we were old enough to understand exactly what sexual abuse and molestation was. But we did know our mum had had a sad childhood and she did whatever she could to protect us, telling us areas we weren't allowed to let people touch. This moment I'm about to tell you is still in my head, and the same goes for my sister and grandma. We were playing baseball with our cousin and we looked into the hallway and our great uncle is crawling on his hands and knees beckoning at us. We just knew it was wrong and started screaming, and our cousin started cussing, and my grandmother runs down the hallway and starts beating him up. Turns out he's a convicted molester and my mother and uncle are just two of many of his victims. Not long after this, he had finally been caught and put in prison. Our family explained to us that they are trying to keep us away from him, and glad we listened to them and he finally got caught. From what I know, they had to put him in solitary confinement because tons of prisoners kept beating him up and trying to kill him. Unfortunately, California state let him out due to good behavior, despite him having 39 known victims with 2 who had taken their lives. My mum and 15 of his victims fought to keep him in and lost. He was released 3 years ago and literally had the nerve to try to call my family to ask us to house him. Of course, we had strong words for him. And just to put a cherry on top of the suffering of his victims, my great-grandmother died and left him everything, so now he has a house and money to potentially continue his horrible behavior. My mother has done her best to cope with the trauma, and we're always there to support her. The other victims sadly do not contact us, as we don't know how they are doing. All we can hope for is that the karma gets him someday and his victims eventually get justice. He was let out? What the hell? People who do things like this and they don't even get time. Like, what, good behavior and he's just gonna come out and do it again? Like, there's a reason why all the prisoners want to kill him. And the state was really just like, just let him out. He'll be fine. He's good. He has like 39 victims. New people moved into the house across the road from us. Nice enough, friendly and approachable. But after about 6 months, I said to my husband, he's mixed up in some dodgy shit. My husband was all, nah, they're great, not a chance, don't worry about it. About a year after that, someone attempted to shoot him in his driveway. Always the husband's being like, everything is fine, but nothing is fine. You always listen to your wife, okay? Wives have tingling spidey senses, okay? When I was 17 to 19, I worked at this neighborhood pizza shop. There was this tall, skinny guy with braids that was always coming in really late at night, even if he didn't end up buying anything. That by itself was weird, but it was his vibes more than anything. The way he'd either stand outside or come inside and sit down, then just watch me the whole time. Nothing ever really happened outside of that until one night when I ended up in the shop all by myself because the other workers had either skipped out on their shifts early, were out on a delivery, or had stepped out the back for a smoke. All of a sudden, he was just there at the door, smirking at me like he had me where he wanted me. He threw open the door, stalked up to the counter, leaned so far over it that his face was in mine, and then said, "I'm going to F you." When I backed up in shock, he continued saying how he'd been watching me and that I could stop pretending not to be into him because he knew I was just waiting for him to come for me. Come on, girl, I know you're a freak. He was genuinely surprised and upset when I told him to get out or I'd call the cops. He basically said I better watch my back. I had to stop walking to and from work because of this guy. It was only a 15-minute walk, but with far too little lighting and far too many potential spots to get snatched or hurt. That is creepy. So scary. That guy's just, what, crazy? Delusional? Dumb? How's he gonna say that to someone just working at a store? Like, they're literally doing their job. Their job is literally to be nice to you. Wow, sucks to be working at night as a girl, you know? Sucks. I was 18 and had just moved into my own apartment. The complex was managed by the owner's son, and right from the get-go he seemed off to me. Nothing that I could articulate, but I felt uncomfortable around him. Since he was frequently at the complex for one reason or another, I kept my door locked and chained whenever I was home, and I would literally run away if I saw him outside to avoid talking to him. Well, one day I grabbed the local paper and on the front page is this guy's face. He had fallen in love with a previous tenant and had harassed her and her boyfriend and continued to stalk her after she moved away. She was a grade school teacher and he waited outside the school for her, shot and killed her in front of the school kids and then killed himself. What's the point of that? Seriously. What is the point of that? What? That's so sad. Like, she just died for nothing. She just died because this guy was crazy. Are you kidding me? It's like, you're just minding your own business, you have a boyfriend, and then some guy stalks you and then falls in love with you and then he kills you because you say no. Oh my gosh, that's so dumb. I was at a party once at an apartment complex that's known for its sketchy tenants. I only knew a few people there, so I just stuck with one of my friends. Halfway through the party, a girl, I'll call her Sally, I met a few months back at a job, showed up with two guys who just seemed really shady, pushing drugs and feeding this girl tons of whiskey, even though she was underage. No one really knew who invited them. By 11 PM, Sally was effed up. My friend and I leave to go get a beer and come back an hour later. Sally is on the floor in the back room convulsing and foaming at her mouth. Her friend she showed up with refused to allow me to take her to the bath and make her throw up. Chaos ensues. I leave. While walking back to my friend's apartment, I call 911 because I knew something was seriously wrong with her. The EMTs show up and take her to the hospital. 2 days later, she messages me on Facebook to tell me the doctors found multiple drugs in her system that she didn't choose to take. She suspects her friends but isn't sure. I'm positive it was them. Yep, it was them. Of course it was them. Because you see your friend is about to die and you're gonna be like, no, don't call the police, don't call anyone. What? What is wrong with them? Jeez. Thank gosh for this person. Like, this person literally saved Sally's life. Man, how do people find such trashy friends? What the hell? My mother, around 9 to 10 years old at the time, was eating dinner with her family and someone knocked at the front door. Her dad, my grandfather, got up to answer and he was a salesman. My grandfather politely declined whatever product he was selling as they were having family dinner. The salesman was very aggressive in trying to continue speaking and even tried to invite himself inside the home. At that point, my usually level-headed grandfather gets upset and says something along the lines of, "You need to leave now." Finally, the salesman gives up and proceeds to the next house, but not before my grandfather called the neighbors to warn them. The young female neighbor answered the phone and said she was home alone, so my grandfather told her to not answer the door whatsoever. Fast forward a few months and the salesman turns out to be a serial killer, targeting young women home by themselves and posing as a salesman. To sum it all up, my grandfather may have very well saved his neighbor's life. Honestly. I mean, good for us, because we never even answer the door nowadays anyways. Like, our generation, Gen Zs, they're like, nope. Nope to answering doors. Let's just leave it outside, thanks. If anything, if you're a salesman, just send me an email or something, you know? Just whatever. But just don't talk to me, thank you. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!